Hello friends! We have already seen how to sow our orchid seeds in flasks and get them to germinate. The moment the jars start turning all green inside and full of protocorms is such a thrill. But this is just the very first step, and there's a lot the baby plants will have to go through before they can get out of their flasks. The greatest challenge is reflasking, and that's what we will talk about in this episode. Reflasking is simply transferring the baby plants from a jar into another sterile jar. That's a delicate, risky moment, a serious opportunity for contaminations. That's why we must do all of the procedure inside the protection of a glove box if we want to stand a good chance of success. But also, and just as concerning, reflasking can be stressful to the seedlings. An occasional change in pH value or a different medium formula, these and other factors can stress the young little plants. So now you ask me, can't we grow our seedlings in the same flask, from sowing to deflasking, all the way to the time we plant them in a collective container? So we wouldn't have to open it and risk contamination. And the answer is not very likely, and for many different reasons. One of these reasons, as you can easily guess, is space. We add a huge number of seeds to each jar, and as they begin to grow, they get overcrowded and start growing on top of each other. So, many of them will not be in contact with the medium to properly feed and get the nutrients that they need. Competition wouldn't let them grow healthy. And even if they could, at some point, they wouldn't all fit in there. So, it is really important to do the first reflasking 6 months to no more than 1 year from sowing. The good news is that if you used a good amount of seed, without exaggerating, you can turn one jar into 10 to 20 new jars in the first step. Later, you're turning those into even more jars with following reflaskings. If you suffer any losses to contamination of medium or oxidation, you can always count on a few jars to survive. The other reason is what I just said, oxidation. To me, that came as a big surprise. I hadn't heard of it before. You can easily find information about how to cross and sow the seeds, but not much really about caring for the jars and the seedlings later on. In the jargon of the field, this is called oxidation, but it refers to many processes, including phenolization. Phenols and other organic compounds are very reactive and very aggressive to the baby plants. They frequently are a result of the protocorm's very metabolism. These compounds accumulate inside the jars, which are small closed systems, and they harm the cells of the protocorms, resulting in their death much too often. There are 3 different measures we can take against oxidation. One of them is adding some activated charcoal to the medium. You will notice that in flasks coming from professionals, the medium is usually almost black. That's because of the charcoal. Adding activated charcoal to your medium will make it a little bit more expensive, but it's not hard to find. You can find it in any drugstore, food grade, in capsules. But activated charcoal alone will not guarantee an oxidation-free environment. The other measure we can take, and the most efficient one, is reflasking. When we reflask, we change an old, depleted medium full of phenols for a brand new one, all fresh. So there you are. With reflasking, we take on both problems, space and oxidation. Now it is clear how important it is to do every reflasking necessary for the good development of our plants. Then you remind me, hey, you said 3 measures. And you're right. The third measure is to simply open the jar inside the protection of the glove box. So you change the gases inside to new fresh air. I realized this had a good effect when I reflasked some seedlings. I picked just a few protocorms from the original jar for replating, and I noticed that whenever I opened and closed an original jar, the health of the plantlets inside it improved a lot. But this is just worth doing to flasks that already have a minimum amount of seeds or very few protocorms. If you're running the risk of opening the jars, you might as well just replate them after all. The reflasking procedure is not much different from sowing. Make sure the jars are carefully cleaned and disinfected before placing them inside the glove box. They may have accumulated a good deal of dust on top of them in the last few months. Make sure the pincers you use are long enough and of a good quality stainless steel. You can sterilize it in pressure cooker or on top of a flame. Then you will need a glass with bleach solution to rest your pincers when you need free hands to open jar lids. Be brief with your movements, but careful. Always close the lids as soon as you're finished picking or placing protocorms. Then, take them out and seal them all with a PVC film around the rims and lid. And immediately tag them, as always. In short, the deal is, don't be afraid of reflasking. Just do it carefully, inside your glove box, with your best technique. You will realize how important it is for your baby plant's health, just as your thumbs up is very important for channel Improbability Drive. In the next episode, we will talk about the places where we can keep the jars as the seedlings develop. Subscribe to the channel.